from Fujifilm Canada.
And I'm Billy Luong, and together
we're the Fuji Guys. We're still on our series of F200 videos. This short videos, we're going to be going through the shooting menu with you. I should mention before Billy takes over here and goes through those menus with you that the menu can vary depending on which shooting mode you're in. The last video we told you about all the shooting modes, movie mode, SP mode, natural light plus flash, all those different modes. The shooting menu will actually change depending on which mode you're in. So for the purpose of this discussion, Billy's going to have the mode dial set to program.
That's correct.
Which is a pretty common setting. And he'll go through all the shooting settings within that program mode. Okay? So take it away, Billy.
Thank you, Greg. So turning on the camera and having the dial set to the P mode. So we're in the shooting mode of the camera. When we access the menu OK button, we can now see some of the shooting options that we have. And the first is the shooting mode. And in the program auto mode, we also have in the shooting mode program auto, but we also have aperture priority. So this is where you can get into the aperture control and change sort of the depth of field without having to know a lot about the proper shutter speeds to get that proper lighting situation for that setting. There's a continuous shooting mode on this P mode. So if you set it, you can set it to things like the top 3 shots. It's going to take 3 pictures for you when you hold the button down. The final 3 shots. So if you hold the button down, it keeps snapping away, and the camera will then save the last 3 shots.
Billy, I'm going to interrupt for a second because as someone who has had 3 kids who have all grown up playing sports and everything, I think we often associate this continuous shooting mode for trying to capture sports and things like that. The one thing that you just talked about, the final 3 mode, is the best thing in the world for taking pictures of your kids playing sports. You simply hold your hand on the button, the camera just keeps taking pictures, keeps taking pictures. As soon as your kid does that great shot on goal or throws the basket, the ball in the basket, then take your finger off the button and the last 3 pictures are saved. It's a fantastic way to capture action without having to be, a professional sports photographer.
No,
sorry.
That's okay, Greg. Actually, it's kind of cool because I was going to get to it too, because there's actually another mode called the top 12 and final 12. Now, in this mode, the resolution of the camera is reduced, so it's not the full 12 megapixels, but it's still enough to give you an excellent 8x10 print. If you set it up to this mode, the camera can shoot at about 5 frames a second, and that's extremely fast for when you want to take pictures of the kids playing soccer or hockey. And again, I have that set. I can hold the shutter button down. See if I can do that right there. And you can hear the camera just sort of snap away. And when I let go of the camera, it's going to save the last 12 shots that I've taken, so I'm not wasting my space of the card, saving all these extra pictures I didn't want to take in the beginning. And these are great modes to have. Personally, there's a top 12 and a final 12. I like using the final 12 mode because it's a lot better for actually capturing the scene that you need. So one more mode than that is also a long period mode. So it does give you full resolution, but it shoots not as fast as you would in the top 12 or final 12. So it snaps a shot every second, I think. Snap, 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 snap. Not a very fast shooting mode. But if you need the high resolution, you can have it there. There's also an option here for photometry. And really what that means is the metering system on the camera. You can set it up to meter in a multimeter state, which sort of looks at several areas in the scene that you're taking pictures of, and it looks for the proper exposure for that, so the proper lighting. There's also spot metering, and this is a great little feature to have when you have a scene that's very bright, and the subject that you're taking a picture of is standing right at one spot. And if you were just to have it in a multi-metering setting and you take the picture, the subject would actually be underexposed because the subject's very dark. So using the spot metering, you aim it right at the subject and point it, and wherever you point the camera to, in the middle of the shot, the exposure is going to be taken at that point and determine, okay, wow, this face is underexposed. It's going to be brought up a little brighter. Of course, you do that, your whole scene gets a lot brighter as well. So that's a nice option to have. And also there's an average metering as well. So it takes the whole scene and it averages out all the bright points and all the dark points, and then it determines what shutter speeds and aperture to shoot at to get you that proper picture. So again, a little bit more control. For the majority of shots, I would probably say leave it at the multi-metering feature, and that will give you the best of shots. Now, I didn't mention earlier, Greg, that taking pictures of faces and whatnot, spot metering is good for making sure the exposure is good. But in the F200, we talked earlier about the face detection button, and that actually helps to do things like that. And when you push the face detection and the camera does find the face, it will use that as the exposure reading. So if I go back to the camera and I turn the face detection feature on, and I go into the menu system, you'll notice now that the photometry option in the menu is now grayed out, and you can't control that because now it's looking at faces to do the metering for you, which is a great feature to have. There's also an AF mode, which stands for the autofocus mode. So you can actually, with this camera, change the different focusing options. And the AF mode, if you set it up, you can actually choose different settings like center focus, if you want to focus in the center. Multi-focus, you can select different areas of the screen to focus your shot. And you also have continuous focus. If, again, you're taking pictures of small children and you want to follow them around, the camera's going to constantly focus on the subject, which is a great feature to have. Okay, another feature is the dual IS mode. So this camera has image stabilization on it. It's based on a CCD shift technology. So when the camera notices a low shift in it, the CCD actually moves internally to counteract your hand motion, so you don't get that what we call camera shake in your when taking pictures. Of course, there's also a power management mode on the camera, so you can set it up to have a nice clear screen, and of course when you do that, it's going to eat up a little bit more juice from the battery. You have a quick AF, so it takes less juice, but it's going to quickly focus. And you also have a power save mode, which reduces the screen refresh rate as well as reduces the speed of the autofocus. So 3 different options you can select from there. I'm just going to select it to clear display. So that's sort of the options that you can find in the shooting menu when you push the menu OK button. And of course, some of these options are grayed out when you are shooting in other modes like scene modes or even an automatic mode. Yeah,
I think these videos are hopefully helping you understand your camera a little bit better, but I will emphasize over and over again that it's a great idea to sit there and just play and work your way through these menus. And again, even try out by taking pictures to see what happens when you're using these settings. Being a digital camera, it doesn't cost you anything but your time to do this. But hopefully this is a starter to get you going, and then you can learn more as you go along. So, Billy, thank you for that description of the shooting menu. And I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys.
Fuji Guys.
See you next video.
Bye.